Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Coming up, what is on your iPad home screen? I think we should all share.
Looking at mine. Plus, send money through Snapchat, how to create podcast playlists, and get the most out of Game Center.
All that and a cornucopia of photos on iPad today.
iPad Today is brought to you by Blue Apron. Blue Apron will send you all of the ingredients to cook fresh, delicious meals with simple step-by-step instructions right to your door. See what's on the menu this week and get your first 2 meals free by going to blueapron.com/twit. That's blueapron.com/twit. And by Personal Capital. With Personal Capital, you'll finally have all your financial life in one place and get a clear view of everything you own. Best of all, it's free. To sign up, go to personalcapital.com/iPad today. And by Gazelle, the fast and simple way to sell your used gadgets. Find out what your used iPhone, iPad, or other Apple product is worth at Gazelle.com.
Coming up, what is on your iPad home screen? I think we should all share.
Looking at mine. Plus, send money through Snapchat, how to create podcast playlists, and get the most out of Game Center.
All that and a cornucopia of photos on iPad today.
Hello.
Welcome. That was weird.
That was a double iPad today. A double.
Yeah. That's it, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good night.
It's been a long Monday.
So this is the... it's not. We just started.
I know.
This is the...
We shoot the show on Monday,
I could
by
do
the
about
way.
10 minutes and then I'm done. This is a show where we talk about the iPad, neat stuff you can do with the iPad applications, iPad news, everything iPad with Sarah Lane.
That's me.
Is also an iOS guru. She does the i5 for the iPhone show.
Oh, thanks for calling me an iOS guru. I kind of like that. It's funny. I feel like, and maybe it's just because the 6 Plus is so big, but more than ever, you know, our iOS worlds are colliding. Stuff that's just iPad only, you know, it's kind of fewer and farther between.
That's true.
For people who have an iPhone and an iPad. I know a lot of you have iPads but choose to use a different operating system for your smartphone, but all are welcome here. So come on in.
Let me just ask you on that iPhone 6 Plus.
Yeah.
How big is the icon grid?
What do you mean?
Well, how many icons are on the front page? Is it 5 by 4?
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 by
24.
4. There's 24.
Yeah.
It's funny because I actually have fewer icons on my iPad screen. I have 4 by 5. I have 20 on my home screen. So,
hey, you know, that's kind of interesting that you say that. I hadn't thought about it.
Is yours zoomed? Did you choose the zoomed?
I
did. Look at it.
I did, but then I unzoomed it.
It's quite the grid.
It's standard now.
Is it?
Yeah, I did turn off the rotate because I didn't like it.
Yeah, that drives me crazy.
But it's interesting to think that, yeah, there are more icons in this little thing than there are.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Well, it's germane to our topic today, which is what's on your home screen.
Yeah. Well, so this is over the weekend, or it was last week, there was some weird behavior. iOS 8, by the way, something is going on. Because I'm getting all sorts of weird behavior, and it's not just on my iPhone, it's on my iPad.
Like what?
Like strange notification rendering, you know, like it'll be all stretched out. Or over the weekend on Tweetbot, every time I tried to reply to somebody, it would just reply with my reply stripped out, so I would look like I was just saying @Leo Laporte and then sending it to you.
I'm getting a few of those, so that must be why.
I'm
getting a lot of replies, apparently, that don't have any content. They just have my name. That must be. So it mustn't just be you. That must be a bug.
I couldn't replicate the issue outside of Tweetbot, so the official Twitter app, which I don't really use that much. It seemed fine. So I hate to place blame in the wrong place, but it seems to me that iOS 8.1 is just buggy in weird ways.
John, I have 2 iPhone 6s on my desk. If you could bring me both of those, I'd appreciate
2
that.
of them,
I'm
huh?
showing off a little bit here. No, actually, we had a guy come in this week.
Okay.
Named Nicholas Charbonnier. His handle is Charbacks. And he just gave it away, John.
We didn't hear. I didn't hear.
You didn't hear?
No.
And anyway, he brought me an iPhone 6 from, okay.
That's a 6 Plus.
But they're both 6 Plus. So take a look.
Okay.
So I'm just going to actually, see, I have more icons on my homepage too. It's 5x4. So just take a look at these and see if you notice anything odd about them.
Well, that's
you can hold them.
That's a new iPhone, and I don't know.
They're both iPhone 6 Pluses or something similar.
I'm supposed to notice something about them?
Just turn it over. Maybe there's something obvious on the back that you might notice.
Yeah, no, this is wrong.
No, that's right.
This is wrong.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a Chinese knockoff.
Oh.
It's not even running iOS, despite the fact that it looks just like it. That's Android.
Oh.
As you'll notice, if you open the apps, it looks just like iOS. If you open the App Store,
that's funny.
It goes to the Google Play Store.
Isn't it funny that I'm like, something's wrong here?
Well,
that's
it's good you noticed.
Fake.
Well, that was a little strange.
Well, you know what it was is because you can tell by the cameras.
The cameras are different, but it's
then
hard to tell what's right.
of course I forgot what was the right camera.
Right.
That's so strange.
If you knew which is which, you could say, oh, that's clearly different from the real. But that's what's so interesting about this. $111.
Okay.
But it is running Android.
But here's the thing. That's almost like, why in the world, if you're like, hey, I'm an Android person, would you want it to look like you're on an iPhone?
Status.
But that's stupid.
So that's one of the things that happens in China, apparently. Oh, hello.
Freaking people.
It even has that ring. It even has the marimba ring. So that's one of the things apparently in China. Of course, these iPhones. In China, an iPhone is more than $1,000. An iPhone 6 is more than $1,000.
Oh, I see.
And but there's a huge amount of status that accrues to having an iPhone. Frankly, just because you can afford it says something. So you'll see clones, and Nicholas has brought these before. Last year he brought iPhone 5S clone and others. And these clones are getting better and better. At this point, this is pretty much indistinguishable, as you could tell, from an actual
I feel like
iPhone.
It's like buying a fake bag on the street.
Very much like that.
Yeah, and that's whatever. I don't care if you do that or not, but it just confuses me. Like, you want someone to think something about you without actually living the
parallax scroll
yeah,
thing.
I know. I've noticed that.
So this doesn't hold up to scrutiny. I mean, as I said, if you launch the App Store, you get the Google Play Store, so that immediately tells you this is not an iPhone. But the point is that you don't expect scrutiny. What you do is you get to your lunch meeting with your very important client, and you pull this out and you put it on the table.
And then they think
you have an iPhone 6.
You're the kind of person who spent $1,000 on a phone, so you're a higher roller.
A month or two.
You're the
salary.
real deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
I don't know, man.
The other point that's, I think, kind of interesting is how close you can get for $111. There are a lot of things missing. The camera's not as good. Screen's 720p, not higher resolution. There's a lot of things missing. But under, relatively light scrutiny, it's just like an iPhone 6. They have iPads, too. He brought an iPad as well.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And they look very real?
Yeah.
Except that then it goes to the Google Play Store.
Get this.
That's
it's
weird.
The same screen as on the iPad. They believe it's the same part.
Interesting. So it looks really good then.
Yeah.
Speaking of looking really good, my home screen, I spent, because I have a, thriving social life, Leo, I spent quite a bit of my weekend rearranging apps on my iPad.
Nothing more fun to do with a date.
Yeah.
Sit down in front of a cozy fire, glass of brandy in hand, and rearrange your homepage.
Well, Sam the cat is very into apps, particularly the organization of apps. So we had a great date.
He probably is pretty good with the paw and the jiggle.
Loves it, yeah.
Put his paw right on there.
Yeah, no, he's good. So I figured, hey, this is a great opportunity for us to just sort of revisit how we use our iPads in general. Now, some of my home screen folders never go anywhere. For example, photos and music, because I have a lot of apps in both of those categories, right? I want them all in one place, and I want them right front and center, because I'm gonna have to go looking for them anyway. And there's so many photo apps that I try that I forget the name. So even if you're gonna go ahead and search for something, half the time I'm like, I don't remember the name of that cool app that I liked last week, because I obviously look at a lot of apps. Music, kind of the same thing. I just feel like they should all be bundled into the same place. But then I started to think, Leo, I'm, as many of you who watch the show know, I'm constantly scrolling. And again, a lot of that has to do with the fact that I forget the names of things that I've been playing with a few days ago. But so many of these apps, really, I mean, once you're in, what is this, the 8th screen of my app pages, and I don't remember that IM is here. I don't remember that Beats Music is here. Wait, Beats Music? You gotta put that in the music folder on the top, you know, so it's like a constant fighting against myself to not get super unorganized, right? Because if I've got a music folder, certainly Beats Music should be in there. But I did move a few apps to the front that I thought, you know, I'm going through to find them too often. So why shouldn't they just be on the front page? Find Friends, for example. I use that constantly all the time because I like to know. Well, I don't have.
Do you have any friends?
I have a few of them. I have a few friends.
Didn't we talk before? Like the only people in my Find My Friends are you and Tom Merritt.
Well,
because nobody I know uses it.
I think I took you off because you stopped sharing your location with me.
Because it seemed not like I don't. Foursquare and Swarm, I know better what's going on with those than I do with Find My Friends. I'm surprised to hear that. So you and your friends use Find My Friends?
Yeah. I mean, I've got a handful of people on there where I kind of go like, oh, I wonder if Anne's home, or I wonder if, you know, so, you know, what's Kathy up to?
She's always traveling. Do you use it to, like, stalk them? I mean, what do you use it for?
Well, I feel like when you have people on Find My Friends, you have a mutual understanding that you're not stalkers. I mean, literally,
honestly, what do you...
Like Prager, for example, okay? Like, Prager and I would never care if the other person is... You know, it's like, I wouldn't ever go anywhere that I'd be like, oh, it's weird if Prager knows where I am right now. You know what I mean? You have people that you have, like, a trust thing with, and so it's actually kind of helpful. So when he's like, hey, I'm 5 minutes out for dinner, I can look on Find My Friends and be like, I don't know, you got to get across town already. It's more like 12, and I can adjust my life accordingly.
That, like you're planning.
I feel like, yeah, these are people that I see regularly.
Yeah.
Or maybe it would be strange.
Yeah, I mean, I've had Scoble show up at a restaurant that I was at because he could see where I was on one of the apps, and I thought, this is weird. But I guess you're right. I guess if you've got a lunch date or whatever, knowing where your friends are.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, when I look at Swarm, which is the Foursquare app they spun off, and it will show you when you launch Swarm where everybody is, it kind of gives me a warm feeling in the cockles of my heart to kind of say, oh, you know, I see, oh, Sarah's nearby, or... You know, it's kind of like here. They don't have an iPad app, but the iPhone app will show you. So I see that Patrick's here, Jeff's here. That's of course everybody knows. That's business analyst and producer Jeffrey Needles. Sarah Lane, of course, my co-host Anthony. Here's Alex. He's a short walk away. Here's people in San Francisco. I think this is fun. And then you see people around the world, which is even. I like this. So this is kind of like Find My Friends. You just have to be mutual followers on Foursquare.
Correct. Yeah,
So I know where you are, and you know where I am.
I think the issue of privacy and sharing, you know, where you are all the time, it's like, it's just different for everybody. I understand that some people are like, I just don't want to be sharing my location all the time, and it's not you, it's me, and that makes perfect sense.
It's great for family members. Like if you have kids, knowing where your kids are at all times, that's amazing. How did we do without that?
Everybody, yeah, I don't know.
That's like that clock on Harry Potter. Remember that? The hands would show how far away each member in the family is?
I guess so. I don't really remember much about Harry Potter. There were so many of them.
I know. I'm pretty high when I go to those movies, too.
High on life, man. Boba tea. Woo! So another couple of apps that I moved to the front because I wanted to be honest with myself is Postmates. Postmates is a courier delivery service where you can get a variety of food and drink.
I've never heard of this. This is San Francisco only. No, I don't know about it.
No. Postmates is in a lot of cities. Come on. We've talked about Postmates on the show before.
Not on my show. This is at i5. You may be on i5 for the iPhone.
No. I mean,
we've mentioned this before?
Yeah.
I must have been dozing. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So you can actually get Phil to deliver you sliders?
If I were to search for example, this is one of my late night
Indian food. We love
my
it.
late night staples, Indian food.
Nothing like it.
Oh, is it because it's hello?
Search. Press search. The lower right-hand corner. Search.
I did. Oh, I thought I did. No results. It's because we're in Petaluma, and Petaluma doesn't have anything. But
there's an Indian food restaurant around the corner. But we don't have delivery. These are places that offer delivery.
Correct.
Got it.
So one of the nice things about this is, and again, this works in, you know, in my area because, again, I'm in an urban area, but I use Postmates so often, I thought to myself, and this is an iPhone app, as you can see, we've got it zoomed in, but it's, you know, why am I pretending that I'm not sitting on my couch holding my iPad ordering food? Bring it to the homepage.
It's
Just
really
make
sad
it easier.
when you lie to your iPad. You might as well tell your iPad the truth.
Well, see, my iPad can't be lied to. The iPad knows.
It knows.
So we just had to kind of come to
Move
an
it to the
understanding
front
here.
page.
And then, of course, what I always do is a variety of Apple apps. I have no problem with Apple Maps, for example, but it's just not the map that I want to go to. I'll go find it if I need to, but I always have Google Maps. That's my map app. In fact, Google Maps really should be up here because I have issues with how things are located. I like clock and maps in the two upper left-hand areas. But yeah, so I don't know. I also always want to have Chrome and Safari both there because I like to check things in both browsers regularly. And of course, a lot of things won't open in Chrome. If you click a link from inside another app, it'll open up Safari instead. So sometimes I like to override that. And then videos, that's something that is unique to the iPad and I don't use on my iPhone because I really don't watch a lot of videos on my iPhone. I mean, like movies or sort of thing. But if I'm going to travel and I'm loading up with maybe some movie rentals or TV shows or that sort of thing, I'm always going to be watching them on the iPad. So I like to have the videos app front and center as well.
You know, it's a little deceptive for me because this is my work iPad and I don't bring it home. I have a iPad mini at home. This is the one I use every day. This is my iPhone 6, and it actually reflects a little bit more closely how my mini is organized at home. Almost all my iOS devices have just 2 pages normally. They'll have the front page, and a second page, it's all folders. And the folders are Apple, audio, books, cameras, and on and on.
And you don't like to have folders on the homepage because you think it looks messy?
Yeah, I put on the homepage the stuff I use all the time.
Yeah.
And then stuff that I use less, I put, now this is, when something new gets installed, of course, it goes to that third page. And notice, there's only 2 things there. I will invariably take the time to move it into the appropriate folder on page 2. Trying really to make sure that everything is pretty well organized in a way that I understand. I show you this on my iPhone 6 Plus because it's not how it's organized here. You notice I have a lot more pages, and that's because we install a lot more apps.
It's more of a test machine.
But this front page is pretty close to what I actually do. I keep in the upper left-hand corner the stuff I'm going to use again and again and again. You see Inbox, which is my email program I use all the time, and you know that I love this new Google Inbox. And we've talked about calendars. You use Fantastical. I like Sunrise.
Yep.
Very similar, but those 2 things are always on all my iOS devices in the upper left-hand corner because those are the things I want the most. I don't carry this outside, so I don't have weather here. I don't have maps here. On a phone or something I carry with me, absolutely, you'd see weather and maps next. Because this is an iPad and I spend a lot of time using it to go through photos, my photos are right in the front because that's the photo gallery. This is a wonderful thing. You know, at some point we'll have to show people how to use the photo stream feature of iOS 8. It debuted in iOS 7, and it's really cool. It's like a private Instagram. Just like you for Twitter, Tweetbot, that's my favorite. And then, you know, I actually probably move most of the Apple apps off the front page, but I have notes and reminders and clock here just as a reminder. Apple does make some useful apps. And Newsstand, of course, I should have I don't know why the Wall Street Journal's not in here, but normally the Times and the Wall Street Journal and Cook's Illustrated will be in the Newsstand. I play a lot of chess, so I have my chess app there. I always have that app because I'm always playing chess.com. I'm always playing games and tournaments. So, that's over. It's done, that tournament. And this is a chess magazine, so I like to read that. So this reflects more how I use the iPad as a entertainment device.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, one of the other things that I find, and by the way, somebody in chat said, well, why don't you just use Siri to launch your apps? Then you don't have to worry about organization. That works great as long as you don't forget the name of the app. And the thing is that apps just sometimes have weird names.
Right.
Like your app cap today, which we'll get to eventually.
Has a weird name.
Does that sound anything like Photos?
No.
No. So you got to remember that. So I don't know, maybe we're just senile or something.
You know,
but
I use a lot.
I don't really launch apps with Siri unless I'm driving.
And I find it actually means that I don't have to be as organized as I actually am on iOS. It's Spotlight. So for instance, when we're doing the show, we do it in Google Sheets. And I don't know where Google Sheets are. It should be on the front page here. I use it all the time. But really all I just do is I start typing DR and I Google Drive and I go right to it.
Yep.
And so to me, Spotlight really means that organization is secondary on the iPad and iOS in general. You can always jump right to. So that to me is a little easier than even using Siri.
Yeah, I I don't know, I have too many apps. But what I do find, and this is something that I kind of rotate out every so often, is there'll be an app that I like. And maybe I'm just not using it that often because, I don't know, I've moved on to something else. But then I think, you know, I just want to think about that app a little bit more often. So, for example, on my home screen now, I have Hotel Tonight, which I haven't used in, I don't know, over a year anyway. And this is a great app for trying to find a last-minute hotel room. And they also do stuff like, you know, car rental and that sort of stuff now. It's obviously locating me in Sonoma County, so it's like, hey, you should go wine tasting. There's some really fun things to do here. And Hotel Tonight is great because you can get deals on hotels that would otherwise be a lot more expensive because the hotels at the last minute are trying to fill their rooms. So you can kind of get a sense of, ooh, built-in ranch, that looks pretty nice. Hotel Tonight puts it in the charming category, so it's probably, I don't know, kind of farmhousey type thing. You can look at a lot of photos, get a sense of where you'd be staying. If you were going to stay there, you can flip through your photos. I mean, the grounds are absolutely beautiful. I don't know who that guy is. But you're just hanging out there, having a smoke.
Hey, Sarah, I saw you in Find My friends, and I thought I'd just check
This looks very nice. It's very, you know, what do you call this? Shabby chic, craftsman, whatever. But yeah, I'd love to stay here. So you get a sense of, and again, a lot of this is, I'm not really booking that many hotel rooms regularly, but it's kind of that fantasy that I could. And then also, I feel like it just gives me good ideas for getting away when you need to get away. And Hotel Tonight is something that, again, if it's on page 3 of my iPad,
you might not think of it.
I just am probably going to launch it a lot less. So it kind of helps me get things front and center. If I see them, then I will use them.
Bill Hicks in our chat room shares my philosophy. He says, everything but the most used apps, which I'll put on the front page, gets spotlighted. I search for. However, there is a little bit of a hierarchy. Yeah, there's your front page, there's your folders, your back pages. But the most, I think, probably the most important real estate on your iPad is the dock down at the bottom, right? These are the apps that you're gonna want to have no matter where you are, that are always going to be visible. And so I think these are the apps that really tell you how somebody uses an iPad. I notice you only have 5 apps in your dock.
Gosh, am I wasting some real estate
You could put
here?
another one down there, but think hard, Obi-Wan Kenobi,
well, I know
young Padawan learner, because
I know what
it's going to be the thing that you want to access immediately.
I know what I want.
You can see, for instance, I don't use my camera on the iPad as much. On my iPhone, the camera's always in my dock. Here, settings and App Store are probably the 2 I use the most. Settings because I'm always messing with those, and App Store because for iPad today, I'm always looking for new and cool apps. Notice that my favorite music app, I do have iTunes up here, but my favorite music app is Google Play Music, and that's because I spend the $10 a month for all access. So I have all the songs in there. All my 25,000 songs are uploaded to the Google store. So this is really the best repository of music for me. You said you have Chrome and Safari. I just use Safari on the iPad. I find that's what's always going to launch anyway when you click a link, so might as well just live with it. Then here, this is kind of interesting. This shows you that I use the iPad in a little bit different way. Most people would probably have messages here, and I do have it on my front page. That's the iPad messaging app that works not only your iPad, but on your phone and on your computer. And anytime somebody with an iPhone sends me a message, it will show up here. But I use Hangouts even more because it's cross-platform. So Google Hangouts kind of works the same way. If you message or text message my Google voice number, which is the number I give out, it will show here in Hangouts. So that's really like having my text message application that I use on my phone also on my iPad. I bet you have messages in your dock, I would think. Or maybe Facebook Messenger or nothing, huh?
What do you mean? I have messages.
In your dock. There you go.
Yeah,
that's more typical.
I added Overcast, by the way, which we talked about the other week. Just a podcast.
That just came out.
Yeah, it's fairly new. I've been using it to listen.
But it just got iPadded. Did you know that? Yeah, because it was when we showed it a couple of weeks ago. It was an iPhone only, but it's now a universal app. Marco Arment has iPadded it, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo!
Oh man, I am I'm all caught up on Serial, but now I'm all on to the Startup podcast. I am just podcast crazy these days, Leo.
Well, they are going, somebody's calling you.
You know what?
Go ahead, show the number so everybody can call him back.
Yeah, call me back.
See, now this is something
That's the problem with handshake, handoff.
Handoff and continuity.
Handshake.
Well, and I was going to mention that because here in my dock I have Talkatone. Remember, we talked, maybe it was even as long as a year ago, how could I use my iPad as a phone? Talkatone used my Google Voice number to let me answer voice calls. But now I'm going to get rid of it because, frankly, I don't need it anymore thanks to handoff and continuity. I'm going to get phone calls in here.
You know what's kind of weird?
Just as you just did.
A few minutes ago, somebody called me, and thanks for that, by the way. I love it when you guys do that. And I muted my MacBook.
Doesn't matter.
But when I just got this call,
Came through.
it came through again.
You have to mute all the devices.
No, I muted everything. I muted my laptop, I muted my iPad, and I muted my iPhone. But then when the next call came in, as you could hear, it was audible.
Rang.
That's lame. I should be the master switch of
You should be.
whether there's volume or not. Very annoying. Gosh, I'm annoyed.
Let me show you. Now, I don't know why Photo Booth is here. That's something that snuck in when iOS 8 came out.
Come on.
I would not have that on my front page. And now, by the way, I have an extra position on the dock, so I have some decisions to make. I'm going to get rid of Photo Booth. That means an opening is on the front page, and I have now an opening on my dock. That's maybe I'll put this here. I keep this on my front page on all my devices. This is the New York Times crossword puzzle app. I think it's $12 a year for access to all the New York Times crosswords. It's a nicely done app, but those are the only crosswords I do. But this is awesome. And they just started doing this. This is called the Mini. Do you know about this? Do you ever do crosswords?
Yeah, when I'm trying to kill a bunch of time.
I just feel like it's a good way to keep
wanting to feel smart on a Sunday type
and
thing.
you know, Monday's really easy and it gets progressively harder. Fridays, Saturdays, really hard.
Yeah.
The Mini is great if you just got a minute. You're waiting in line, you're at the store. I love this new feature. It is a mini crossword. You can see here it's 5 by 5. There's only a few clues. I can usually get a mini done in a minute. So and they're fun too sometimes. Like one way to order would be a la CARTE. Epic mistakes in modern lingo. My bad?
Fail.
Fail? It's 5 letters.
Well, fails.
Fails, you think? Let's try it. Whoops. Let's go back one. I like the interface. It's very easy to use, although there are a lot of crossword puzzle programs. Weather vane turner.
Weather vane.
Isn't it usually
wind.
a rooster or maybe wind? You're so good. All right. Alternative to a clothesline. See how fun this is?
Alternative to a clothesline.
I don't know. Well, let's go across. Let's start going across. What do you say?
Okay.
All right. Just in Seattle, like Seattle meteorologically, would be rainy. So I think we're good going down. Over-the-top Spanish accent is 8 across. Over-the-top Spanish accent.
Tilde.
What?
Tilde.
Really?
Tilde. It's a Spanish accent.
Oh, you are good.
It's over the top.
See, I am never playing this game with you. 9 across. Let's see if you can get this one right.
L's.
Golf.
Ernie L's.
Jeez Louise. 6 down. Nasty winter weather. Hail. Hail with that. And then finally 4 down, alternative to clothesline. We're still looking for that one.
That's weird. Well, what's 5 across?
Just the slightest bit.
Just the slightest bit? A hair. A hair.
A hair. Oh, now what do we think?
Alternative to a
what's
clothesline.
this one? Subject?
Dryer.
Dryer. And ladies and gentlemen, you get this great, satisfying...
Oh my God, I love that.
Don't you love this?
We should do this every week.
Okay,
I feel so good.
Now, that's the best reason to get this app, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
Who has time for a big crossword? But if a minute for the little crossword and it's fun, and you get that great, satisfying congratulations. Don't you love it?
I love it.
That's the official New York Times crossword puzzle app, which I really like. And then if you want all the crossword puzzles, I can't remember. I think it was $12.99, something like that, for a year's worth of crossword puzzles.
That's a lot. That's a lot of crosswords.
It's seven a week, plus the mini every day.
I don't want to act like I don't care about the world's news, but I have been known to buy the Sunday New York Times just because I want to do the crossword at the cafe while I drink my coffee.
Now you do it on your iPad.
Now you do it on your iPad.
Look at this. They even have calendars, so you can go and say, oh, I want to get last Mondays or whatever. You can click them and just download them like that. You can do it by packs if you wish. There's a free starter pack with 10 puzzles, so you don't have to buy anything. I just subscribe so I get every calendar every crossword puzzle as it comes out. Really fun.
And then, of course, if you pay for the New York Times, you get the crossword as part of your New York Times subscription. You don't? What are you talking about? Are you serious? They strip it out of the iPad app?
I pay for the New York Times, but you have to
also
subscribe if you want to get the official crosswords.
Oh.
Anyway, that's on my front page because you see why? Wasn't that fun?
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
And you're smart.
We would love to know a little bit more about how you might very creatively have put together your own home screen. We did this a while ago, a couple years ago now, on iPad Today, where we had you send in photos. Do that if if you've got something interesting to share, or if you just think, gosh, all of my home screen apps, the way that I organize them are so different than the sort of stuff that Sarah and Leo use. We'd love to know. iPad Today at twit.tv is how you can email us. And then also a quick reminder that anything you might have missed on the show when we talk about apps or certain news stories, or you're like, I need to go over that again, you can always go to twit.tv/IPT. That is our show archive extravaganza. Last week, we hung out with Didio. It's an interesting screenshot. And yeah, we talked about a bunch of apps, and as you can see in there, it's easy to navigate. We try to make it as easy as possible. So do stick with us. If you can't watch us live, which is Mondays at about 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, you can always watch or listen on demand.
How much do you pay for a restaurant meal? Typically in San Francisco, it's like $50 a person usually, right? Maybe more.
With wine, yeah, about 50
maybe more.
bucks. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great? I mean, I know you love to cook.
I do.
It'd be so cool if for $10 you get a meal, fresh ingredients, make it fresh. You could make it yourself, learn a recipe, put out candles, a little glass, bottle of wine. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Blue Apron.
Blue
Apron. Love this idea. We got our Blue Apron box. So first of all, you're going to make new recipes, which is a lot of fun. I made the congee and pork that was so good. And everything you need is in the Blue Apron box. I mean, even seasonings, a clove of garlic.
Everything.
Everything you need. So you're never saying, oh, gosh, I'm so close. If I only had one more ingredient. Like, look at those zucchini flowers. Those actually come in the box. And they're really fresh, really delicious. Blue Apron is for people who like to cook but don't have time to shop. And we all have this experience of getting home from a long day, and you'd like to make a nice meal, but you have to shop first, get it all together. And frankly, at $9.99, you're going to make a wonderful meal. Also very healthy, fresh, delicious, and always 500 to 700 calories a serving. So these are great, healthy meals that you could use to supplement your diet in a way that's good. Have you made anything yet from your Blue Apron?
Yeah, in fact, I got my Blue Apron box for the first time. It was a little over a week ago, so it was last weekend. And it was great because I was out of food. I had been, I was gonna go out of town, but then I ended up being in town, and so I had kind of eaten my fridge dry, and I just felt like, I don't have anything. And it was great because what's nice about it is that, like you said, it's the shopping that I don't necessarily always want to do.
The cooking's fun and fast.
But also, when you're shopping for something, even if you've got the recipe in front of you.
You got to do the meal planning.
First, you got to find the recipe and be like, okay, I trust that this is going to be a good recipe.
Yeah.
But then at the grocery store, I find that, maybe I just need a little pinch of cilantro, but I got to buy a whole thing of it. It's like and I'll never get through it, and so I end up wasting food. Blue Apron was very good about, like you said, the seasoning.
Just what you need.
Just stuff that you might need to, top your lasagna, that sort of thing. It was all packaged very well, and they have very simple instructions. It was fun. It was really fun because it's not, you don't feel lazy like you just ordered in.
No, and you're eating a great meal. I mean, we made the salmon. We actually made that. And it's fresh salmon, comes to your door in these beautiful refrigerated boxes. By the way, the boxes and everything in it completely recyclable, so you don't have to worry about the packaging. That's what you get. See the ginger root? You even get a little bit of loaf of bread and everything, so you're set. You've got the meal that you want. And by the way, the ingredients come from local farms, so they are currently in season, and they are absolutely the peak of the freshness. Steak with roasted sunchokes and creamed kale. White chili with rainbow chard and tricolor quinoa. And then the nice thing about this is you've got the recipe. It comes on a nice card that you can keep, like as a keepsake, and so you can continue to make that recipe again and again. And it really is nice because the first time, it's almost like you get a little hand-holding, and now I'm ready. You want to get 2 meals free? You can. Visit blueapron.com/twit. See what's on the menu this week. Your first 2 meals free. blueapron.com/twit. Sarah and I love it.
That's good value. No, it was a delight, I have to say. I had a few meals. I'm
going to make that congee recipe again. I'd never had that before.
Yeah, no.
So good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's really, really good stuff.
So good.
If you think to yourself, yeah, sure, I'd like to be a chef, but
This is like you have a sous chef.
It's
like a prep cook.
It's the helping hand you actually need.
You got a prep cook doing all the work for you.
Everything.
BlueApron.com/twit. Thank you for your support, Blue Apron. Really thrilled to have you.
Hey, so Apple has released iOS 8.1.1, and I was so excited about that because, as I said earlier in the show, this morning, earlier in the show, I was like, iOS 8 is just, 8.1 is acting strangely. At first, I was like, do I blame my iPhone 6 Plus because it's, it's a new form factor in that whole thing? Who do I blame? And I find that there's enough weirdness that happens on my iPad as well that I think it's software-based. So I was all excited about this, but it apparently really only has bug fixes and performance issues for iPad 2s or iPhone 4S. I am beyond the iPad 2, and I haven't had a 4S in a while, so as far as I understand, it's not going to fix any of the specific issues that I've been seeing.
It's a security update.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm seeing it, and when you tap the thing that says, for the information on the security content, visit this website. So it is I think it says increased stability and performance, bug fixes, but I think is as much a security update as anything else. And I don't really have any speculation on what it's fixing. You know what? Tomorrow we'll ask Renee. He'll know. Renee Ritchie on iPad, on MacBreak Weekly, will know.
There you go.
He's like an expert on that stuff.
He kind of writes about it,
Yeah, he does. Whenever there's an update and I want to know what's in this, Renee will know.
We know that Apple is very serious about making inroads in China. China is a huge market for Apple and a huge potential market that Apple doesn't yet have. There's a story that went out this morning that the company has added UnionPay, which is China's largest bank card network, to its App Store payment options. So, in other words, if you're an Apple user in China, then you can link your UnionPay debit or credit card to your Apple ID for purchases, and that gives Apple Pay quite a wider reach.
Nice.
Across the mainland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with UnionPay. I don't have bank cards in China, but I assume that a lot of people are probably pretty happy about this.
The big one is Alipay from Alibaba. Alibaba is kind of the Amazon of China.
And Jack Ma, who's the CEO of Alibaba, has said, oh, yeah, we're figuring out how to work with Apple. Figuring it out.
So UnionPay is the beginning, but you watch carefully, because when they announce Alipay, boom, that means they're in China big time. Apple Pay, did you see? 50% of all the McDonald's tap-to-pay transactions since Apple Pay, since 8.1 came out, have been Apple Pay. 50%. Which means, interestingly, their 50% are not Apple Pay.
Yeah.
But the companies that do the other touch-to-pay, Google Wallet and the soft card from Verizon and the other carriers, both report increased usage. So this I find interesting. Apple Pay got the attention of everybody else who has tap-to-pay in their phone, using other phones and other technologies. And they're starting to say, well, hey, I can do this here. So that's good. I mean, McDonald's has had tap-to-pay for a couple of years. But all of a sudden, people woke up and realized they have it, and they start using it. It's great.
I would go to McDonald's and try it out, but I don't like anything at McDonald's.
Oh,
so
you got to get a hot apple pie and a shamrock shake.
No.
That's living.
No.
McRib's back.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, it's something formed in the shape of meat.
Yeah, I don't like that. That doesn't work for me. But at Whole Foods...
Why did you giggle? Brian giggled when I said McRib's back. I think he's a closet McRib fan.
Your mic is really annoying today.
There it is. Look at that.
Very annoying.
Looking for the McRib.
Oh, it's like a burger, but...
It's a McRib locator.
So it's basically just something meat-related.
Oh, baby. Are they in Petaluma?
That has been marinated.
All right, McRib. Oh, no, they're not. We're going to have to go all the way to San Francisco to get our McRibs.
Oh, wait, there's
totally worth it.
McRibs are only at certain locations?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, I don't know.
There's a McRib shortage.
Okay. I see.
Certainly not an artificial shortage.
No, because only the finest, whatever, pigeons.
Meat formed into a rib shape could be.
Whatever it is they use.
Whether you like McDonald's or not is really neither here nor there. The point is that we're all starting to understand tap to pay. Or really hover to pay. At Whole Foods, I don't
have to tap it.
I don't bring my bank card anymore. And it's great because I've mentioned there's a Whole Foods right on my way back from the gym, and sometimes when I'm done exercising, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta get a few things. And yeah, I don't bring my wallet to the gym sometimes, and so I don't really have anything, but I always have my phone. So it's really coming handy.
They said 150,000 transactions. So when did 8.1 come out? Like 2-3 weeks ago, not that long ago. So
yeah, a few weeks ago.
that's a lot, 150,000 transactions. at Whole Food with Apple Pay?
So I read that Sprint, who's obviously a telco here in the States, has extended its leasing program to new iPads. So let's say that you wanted to get the iPad Air 2 and you want to do Wi-Fi and cellular. For example, that would be about $20 a month for 24 months. And at first I was like, leasing an iPad, that's kind of weird. But in a way, because you and I have talked about this a lot, Leo, sometimes it's hard to feel compelled to upgrade the iPad just because there's a new one out once a year, because they're perfectly fine. But if you had a leasing program where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna basically have this device for a couple of years, I know by the end of that time, it's kind of like a new car, right? Leasing a new car.
What is the term on leasing?
24 months.
So it is a 2-year thing. So you wouldn't get the next iPad, but you get the next one after that.
Right, but it still kind of puts you, if you like the convenience
so.
of being on, let's say a 2-year cycle, then you don't feel like, well, I've already got this nice iPad that I paid all this money for because you were just leasing one. Yeah. I think this actually works out, maybe not for me, but I think it
As long as you don't do the math, it works great.
Well,
as soon as you figure out what you're paying for that lease.
But you're also paying for the convenience of jumping around.
There's another, I think the real reason for it is that leases are tax deductible for businesses. So for a business supplying iPads to its employees, a lease might be, check with your tax accountant, I'm no tax accountant, but in many cases a lease might be more affordable because of the tax break. So many businesses do lease computer gear and other gear that it depreciates more quickly than the IRS would like. By the way, a correction, 150,000 transactions at Whole Foods in the first week. Now, how much would you pay?
For what?
Nothing. An iPad lease.
I would pay, yeah. Yeah, no, it's, I don't know. That's
I think
all
it's
very...
the tax. I think it's mostly for business and for tax reasons. But you're right, it would reassure you. Here, I could get another iPad in 2 years for only a couple of $1,000s.
Well, it's not a couple of $1,000s.
I bet you it's a lot more than buying it outright.
But then you get to, but then you don't have, all right. Wait, it's the convenience of choice, right?
Do the math.
I mean, I leased my latest vehicle because I didn't want to commit. Commitment issues.
Because you wanted low monthly payments.
And many of you do.
Right.
Don't we all?
Right.
Then, you should just look into some of your options. And it seems like Sprint is at least trying to give people more of those.
This is the quote Scooter X has provided it. Once the 24-month period is out, they can swap the device for the next generation model, purchased it by paying off whatever's left, or continue to use it on a month-to-month lease basis. Or just return it and your lease is over after 2 years, if it's in good condition.
There you go. I love it.
Thank you, Scooter X.
Thanks, Scooter X. Did you hear the news this morning, Leo, that Snapchat, ephemeral messaging service used by the teens and me sometimes, will now let people send money to each other, and they're using Square on the back end?
I don't get it.
I don't either. It's like, in what universe, this is just me being super old and trying to understand how life works, in what universe is Snapchat the way that I want to send money to somebody?
My kids use Snapchat to communicate all the time. So I guess if you think of Snapchat as a messaging app, like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, all of these messaging apps say we're going to add payments. So I guess that's how you think of it, right? You'll be able to do the same with Facebook Messenger soon and WhatsApp soon.
Yeah, it basically is just like, let's give you one more reason to not use another messaging app, I guess.
And Snapchat, I guess, I think my kids think of it as a messaging app. They use it in lieu of the other messaging apps.
Yeah, because they just don't need to save stuff. Snapcash is what it's going to be called.
Snapcash.
Snapcash. And yeah, you type out a dollar amount. Let's say I say to Leo, I owe you $10 for lunch or whatever it is.
Right.
That stays until Leo, redeems it, and then yeah, it's.
Can you spend the money after 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'd be concerned about.
The money is not ephemeral. or it is, I guess, after you use it for the lunch that you want to buy. Yeah. It's weird though. It's Snapchat. I was all into Snapchat, but a year ago. Well, maybe not even a year. Yeah, I would say about a year ago. I was like, okay.
Really? Did you use it?
Yeah, this thing isn't going away. I had a few friends who were, they were kind of gung ho about the whole thing, and we had some fun, and then we all kind of lost interest. Yeah. But that's because. I really believe that in many ways we're not the target audience.
Yeah.
We're not. I also like to, don't know. I mean,
You like to look back at your text messages.
I do.
The days when we were friends, that kind of things.
Right, yeah.
Memories.
Yeah, you know, there's photo. You know, it meant
Me
something
too.
to me.
But I think
that's just it's a cultural
exactly.
and age thing.
I think
guess.
a lot of older people assume Snapchat is the reason that the messages disappear is because they're sexy and kids don't want anybody to see that.
It doesn't have to be that.
It's not. It really is because kids don't want to add too much import to what they're sending. This is not anything for the ages. It's just a quick picture and with some text. And so other things like Instagram, they're so permanent. And I think this is true of my kids. It's just they don't want it. They want it to be light, easy, just a quick back and forth. You're not going to save it. I'm not going to save it. You know, it's going by in the river of life, and we don't need to preserve it. And I understand. Actually, as the more I think about it, the more I understand that. It's a messaging, an ephemeral messaging app. That's what it is.
Well, it's sort of like, hey, before the days of everything being recorded and backed up and all of that stuff, you know, how would I let you know something? I call you on the phone, hope that you're home, you answer, we talk, and we hang up, and that's the end of that. So it's sort of throwbacky in that way.
Yeah, people don't record their phone calls.
Well,
I mean,
in general, no. Or if we're having a conversation right now, I can't rewind 30 seconds and hear what you said again.
That's normal.
It's gone.
And Snapchat is more normal.
It's in a way, yeah, it more closely mimics our actual, the ways that we actually communicate with each other.
Became
and that's why it's so weird that we have such a hard time with it, because it's like, it's supposed to actually be more human.
Right.
But it's still hard to understand. So yeah, instead of giving you $5, I'm just gonna Snapchat it to you.
I think it makes perfect sense.
Good, well, I'm glad. Hey,
you know the thing about Messenger apps, unless all your friends use it, it doesn't make sense.
No.
No Messenger app makes sense unless your friends are using it.
Correct.
Then it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I agree. Facebook Messenger, it's good for certain friends of mine. Snapchat was good for 5 friends of mine.
Right.
iMessage, everybody's using it except my Android friends, and blah, 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 blah.
That's why I use, frankly, Google Hangouts, because it's text messaging. And everybody I know can do text messaging.
Yeah.
So that's really the messaging app I use, because that's how we communicate with each other.
Well, I mean, somebody on an Android can message me. It just isn't actually.
Really?
Yeah, it just.
They have to know your phone number. They can't use messages.
Right. Yeah. But you know, just comes in green, and then I say Android. All right. So.
You know that Apple finally released a tool. We've talked about this before.
Wait, what?
This is a big problem. And I know you would never do this, but for those people who switch from an iPhone to an Android phone, Messages becomes a black hole, because unless somehow you know that I've switched to Android, you're going to keep sending me messages that I won't receive because I'm on Android.
And if you haven't turned off iMessage on the device that you last used Messages on, then yeah, the messages kind of go into the ether, which is not cool.
So Apple has finally acknowledged this, and they have a page you can go to and deregister yourself from iMessages. You don't have to have access to the old iPhone. They say if you do this on the iPhone.
Right.
That's the best way to do it. But if you don't, go to this, fill out this number, give us your phone number, and we will deregister that number from our messages
It kind of
account.
works like two-factor auth, where they'll send you a code, and then you enter the code
to verify that you actually own that number. So otherwise, somebody could just deregister anybody.
Exactly. It was actually a tip on i5 last week.
It's a good. Thank you, Apple.
Yeah. I mean, it's very ridiculous. I mean, there's nothing more unacceptable than me not receiving a message from somebody. That's communication.
But it would never happen to you, because you are never going to leave iOS. You are an iOS lover.
I am for now. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's true. But you never know. Life is full of surprises. So Jim has a little question for us. He says, I hope you can answer this about playing back multiple podcasts. Everything's about podcasts these days. Here's my scenario. I download several of your podcasts every week to my iPad, and then I listen to them in the car. But the problem I'm having is when an episode of, say, The Tech Guy is finished, I want the app to automatically start playing a certain episode of This Week in Tech. Currently, I have to select the next podcast manually, and I don't want to do that while I'm driving because it's dangerous. I have Apple's podcast app and Downcast, and I can't find a way to do this in either app. Do you have some suggestions?
Don't playlists do that?
I do. Yeah. So, well, at first I was like, well, I know playlists, you know, for example, on Overcast, I've got, you can just start a new playlist, and then you just dump episodes into that playlist. So if you're subscribed to a variety of podcasts, well, each podcast has a variety of episodes. And so you might want to listen to episode 5 of Serial, and then you want to jump into, this show about iOS design, and that's episode 65. And you can add those to a playlist. Now, there is some manual organization that has to happen on your end, but as long as you do that,
not when you're driving, before you get in the car.
Exactly. It's like putting together a music playlist before you go on a run. It's the same thing. There's a little organization off the top, but then you're good to go. What I thought that Jim, maybe, let's open up podcast, that maybe he was right that Apple didn't provide that, but what the podcast app, and this is the native podcast app that Apple makes, what they have is something called My Stations, and it's exactly the same thing. Just think of the word station as playlist. Oh. You add a new station, you call it food, or whatever, and then you say what podcasts you want to include.
You could even include everything.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to do a playlist. Just say, hey, every episode that's new that I haven't listened to, just put that in there.
Right.
And I'll listen to them one after the other. That's what we really want most of the time.
Yeah. I find that one of the most annoying things is that podcasts, they always want to go sequentially backwards. So if I'm done, let's say I'm on a long walk or something. I take a lot of long walks. I'm listening to something. It's like, let's say I'm listening to episode 3 of This American Life. Yeah, I always, by default, the podcast app, I don't care which podcast app it is, they always want to then start playing episode 2 when episode 3 is done, because they're looking at it as newest podcast at the top, but then it goes backwards. Yeah, all of the podcast apps have settings where you can flip this.
Right.
But that's always been annoying to me. Like, wouldn't it make way more sense to go to episode 4 by default rather than episode 2 after you're done listening to episode 3?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
It's in reverse chronological order.
But that's not
by
the way that we
You know
listen
why?
to
I'll
things.
tell you why.
Why?
Because the episode number isn't really part of the metadata. It's just a name. The only automated I actually do know why this is.
Okay.
The only automated metadata is the date. And so many podcasts don't even have an episode number in the name. There's no defined way of saying what the episode number is. There's no field for episode number in the RSS feed. So the Podcatcher app doesn't know what the next or previous episode number is. It's merely going by date. Now, you might say, well, I want you to go in the reverse chronological order. Maybe there should be a switch for that. But it only knows dates. It doesn't know episodes numbers. That's not something part of the feed.
Well, okay, fine. Then
we use episode numbers, but that's because we're sensible.
So if I'm listening to episode November 15th,
right,
what's the next one I want to listen to? Probably November 16th, not November 14th.
No.
Why would I want to go back in time?
Why would you want to go forward in time?
Because that's the trajectory of life. Forward in time.
I just assume, as I think these apps are, you listen to the most recent show you haven't heard yet, and then you want to go backwards.
No. No.
There should be a switch that says which order you want to go, and I agree.
There is, and there is. It's always kind of bothered me that the podcast wouldn't agree with the way that I think it should be.
By the way, if you don't want to make playlists, because that's the other side of it. Well, that's just too much trouble. I don't want to make a playlist.
It does require some work, yeah.
Some apps will do this for you kind of automatically. Stitcher, we've mentioned before. That's the whole point. It stitches together podcasts to make a full playlist that you just keep listening to. So when you press play on Stitcher, it will just go through all the podcasts on your front page. And many of these are Stitcher recommendations based on what you listen to. They may not be the things you subscribe to, but they also could be. So if you're looking for something that does it more automatically, Stitcher's a good choice.
You know, there was a game. Yes, I know. Me, the big gamer of the group here. There was a game that crossed my path. It was actually Chris Siegler, who writes for The Verge. He had tweeted last week, oh, I really like this game Retry by Rovio, which is basically a Flappy Bird clone.
That's funny, because Rovio is the Angry Birds company.
Right, yeah, Rovio's had quite a bit of success, you know, with their Angry Birds franchise. But he said, you know, I kind of like the game. I mean, as long as you're like, yes, of course, this is a Flappy Bird knockoff, it's actually pretty fun. So I thought, in the name of science, why not give it a go? And sure enough, it's really hard.
Oh, it's 8-bit. Look, even their logo is 8-bit.
Well, you know, it looks a little better once we get started. But yeah, it's, okay, got it. And it is very much a Flappy Bird clone. But it is sort of interesting. I'm not going to be part of Game Center right now. Thank you, but no thank you. Just go ahead and cancel. I just want to play alone. And then you go ahead and tap to fly, right?
Oh, yeah, I like it. Yeah.
And you want to go too high
easier
or
than
too low.
Flappy Bird. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Where did that come from?
Yeah,
how do you get around that? There's a wall.
I guess I have to make, okay, let's try this again.
Maybe go higher?
I don't think you can go higher because if you hit the clouds, you're effed.
Whoa. Oh, down. See, you got to go in the hangar.
Oh, man.
That's all right. You're just trying to get...
Oh, my God, I finished the stage.
Yeah, but you crashed 10 times.
Oh. So I'd made a small leap.
You got to land in the, oh, I get it. So you got to land in the hangar. I get it. This is actually better than Flappy Birds.
It kind of, there's more to it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's...
This is good.
Yeah, he didn't.
So watch the arrows, because they'll tell you what you're going to... Yeah, see, you're supposed to land there.
Well, how do I...
Sort of. Nice landing.
Thanks.
Oh, it took a coin to unlock that. Oh. Come on. Now, how can you crash into a cloud?
I'm so bad. I'm so bad at this. I've had it.
Follow the arrows.
I took one for the team, you guys.
Follow the
and now you
arrow.
know how bad I actually am at everything.
The arrow. Get that coin. Oh, okay, don't worry about it. That's no. See the arrow? Nice.
I did it. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
This is like solving a crossword.
Nice.
All right. Anyway, that's Rovio.
I like that.
That's Rovio's Retry. It's kind of weird that it's called Retry.
Well, because nobody's ever going to get it right.
Well, but that's an app that I'm like, if I think about it later and I'm trying to find it in my app list.
Right. How would you know?
I'm going to be like plane.
Okay, Siri,
flap,
launch.
Tap, Rovio.
Something.
Retry?
Retry.
Probably not. Anyway, thank you, Chris Ziegler, for the great tip on a game that I am not good at.
Tipperoo.
You know what I'm also not good at, Leo?
What would that be, Sarah Lane?
Saving money.
Thank God there's personal capital. Actually, this won't help you if you don't save money. What this will help you do is take the money you save and invest it more wisely. And you know what? As that starts to go on and you go, oh, look, I got more money in your bank account. Look, it's growing, it's growing. Then you really get incentive to, I'm going to save some more because I want to make even more. And that's what's so great about personal capital. It gives you a visual, one-page, beautiful presentation of how you're doing, where everything is going. You can use it to budget, absolutely. But you can also keep track of all your investments, your stocks, your 401k. Keep track of your bank accounts, your credit cards. Even though they're all on different sites with different passwords, you log in to personalcapital.com/iPad today, set it up once, and from then on, you'll get this great dashboard of how everything is doing. A single screen on your computer, your phone, your tablet. If you have an Android Wear watch, it'll actually give you real-time updates on your watch. That really incents you. It's really a great kind of, it's like a game. Oh, I made $500 today in my investments. Let me put some more in the savings so it goes up even more. Personal Capital shows you also if you're overpaying in fees, how to reduce those fees. You can get tailored advice on optimizing your investments for your goals. Why wait? It just takes a minute to sign up, and the dividends are huge. You're talking about your future here, folks. This is whether you're saving up to buy a house, for a rainy day fund to put the kids through school, or for your retirement. Personal Capital makes it easy. Personalcapital.com/iPad today. Personalcapital.com/iPad today. I've been using it for a couple of years now because, as you know, I'm going to retire any day now.
You know how they used to call Jennifer Lopez J-Lo?
J-Lo.
We call it PCAP.
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 PCAP. You know what's cool on my Android Wear watch? One of these days it's going to say, okay, retire now, and I'm out of here.
You know, I want to say this on record, that I'm terrified that that's going to be like tomorrow.
No.
You're going to retire and you're going to leave me.
Here's the good news.
And no one's going to want to watch this show without you.
Oh, that's not true. No. First of all, you don't need me.
I do.
Second of all, I ain't going anywhere.
Good.
I got 2 kids in college. Abby just said she wants to go to graduate school. I'm going to be here for a while.
Good. Thank goodness. I like to feel that you're forced to stay.
I got no choice.
Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes with you, I think...
I could just walk out. I could take that microphone.
He's going to buy a boat, and he's
it.
going to leave all of us, and we'll be here to pick up the pieces. Not well, either. There are a lot of pieces. Hey, so we got.
Do you think I could do that?
I don't know.
That's tempting
no.
now.
I think,
Now you're
I
tempting
think the
me.
answer's no.
I'll tell you what. The day you read a story that says it's possible to podcast from a boat, That's the day you start worrying.
It is possible to podcast from a boat.
I should buy a boat.
The cats are already on the case. Both of my cats have boats.
What if I built this studio inside a boat?
It feels like a boat sometimes in here. With the portholes and the...
That's what we did. You know, it was totally unconscious, but I actually did that. In fact, originally, we were going to have green screens, and they would be on a motor that would slowly rise, and we would use the TriCaster to make it watery, and we'd say, I was going to have a klaxon and go, dive, dive, and the water was going to go just like that.
We call that a Leo idea, and it's one of those ideas where everyone goes like, and then we just wait for you to forget about it.
No, we found out that it would cost $40,000. So we said, okay.
AKA forgetting about it.
Well, I didn't forget about it. I still remember it.
Well, but it
one of these
didn't
days.
happen. One of these days we're going to...
No, we talked to Crestron.
Spend $40,000 on a
We talked to Crestron.
boat
They have
simulator.
remote. It's going to be great.
Hey, so we got an email from Martin, and Martin lives in Canada. Martin says, I'm a French Canadian living in Montreal. I listen to iPad today. I love it. On the last episode, though, I thought it was funny when you said that you use the Aviary keyboard. So that's the keyboard that...
The French keyboard.
The French keyboard, right. When you want to write in French. I think you'd be happy to learn that the keyboard that we use here is called Français Canada, probably French Canadian on your system. And it's a QWERTY keyboard. Aside from the QWERTY key layout, it's exactly the same as the Aviary keyboard used in France, since obviously it's the same language. It'll give you the same results, but it's a lot easier to type with. And I was like, what? So I actually went into, you know, so let's say, just to remind you, let's say that we are, let's go back to our, okay, so this is our English keyboard. No, actually, this is our French keyboard. This is Aviary, right? And you can see in my predictive texts that it wants to help me say, like, I have too much hurt of anyway, I'm making up a really weird, but the point of this is that once you actually, if you're actually,
I think that's such a clever idea.
Yeah, if you're actually writing something in French,
it will do it.
The autocorrect helps you just the way that it would help you in English. What Martin's saying is, yeah, but the keyboard layout is odd and it can be confusing, right? So if you go into your settings.
What do you mean, you can have autocorrect in French without a French keyboard?
Correct. General.
Yeah.
Let's go down to keyboard. We'll say keyboards. Then we say add new keyboards.
For Aviary.
And then we go, wait.
English Canada?
French Canada.
Oh.
And then you go ahead.
In Canada, the Frenchies use a QWERTY keyboard.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying to me?
Accented QWERTY, or Aviary, or something called Quartz that I wasn't even familiar with. So if I say, okay, how about...
That's my spy name.
Well, let's say accented QWERTY. That's probably what Martin was talking about.
Yeah.
So now, if I go back into my little note here, and I say, I want my Français Canada, then...
Oh, look at it, still QWERTY. Oh.
See?
Thank you. What a good tip.
But it's still auto-correcting with the French, which is what I'm actually looking for. I know. I thought that was pretty clever, Martin.
Did you ever think it might be worth learning the Dvorak keyboard because supposedly it's a more efficient layout?
I know what it is, but no, it always seemed like way too much trouble to me.
Problem is, everywhere you'd go, you'd have to like say, "Oh, I don't use a QWERTY keyboard."
Yeah. Do you have a Dvorak keyboard?
You have a Dvorak.
And then people in hotels are like, worse than being a vegan. The people who use Dvorak keyboards, worse than vegans.
I'm so sorry. I don't use a QWERTY keyboard. You don't happen to have it.
Dvorak keyboard, you know, it's much more efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to thank the guy who just sent me this information. As of September 1st, 2014, thanks to the OB3 network, I can get gigabit satellite data speeds in a boat anywhere in the world.
Oh.
So as soon as I get that boat built,
then you'll be on it.
We're going.
I'm there.
Where would you? So we'd sail out of the Petaluma Harbor.
Sure.
And by the way, we'd all be on this. It's more like a barge, frankly.
Well, they're, you know,
a barge.
Collectively, we all weigh a lot.
Yeah. Well, we got to get this whole studio, right? So we got the whole thing on there.
Yeah.
Everybody's here. We're all going to sail off on this boat. We're going out of the Petaluma Harbor. Where do we go?
Mexico.
Really? The first place? We just go south?
Well, why not?
It's easy.
Where else are you going to go?
Can we then continue to the Panama Canal and head through there? And
I think we could do whatever the heck we want. I mean, who said that we have to not do what we want.
Valley High is calling.
I just want to sail into Brazil. Wouldn't that be fun?
Bahia.
Yeah.
Oh,
very
baby.
Much so.
Let's do it.
Very much so.
Now I'm more and more interested. All I need is $1 billion.
Okay.
We'll work on it.
We'll start raising some funds.
It should take, at this rate, about 200 years.
Okay. Well, the lifespan is increasing all the time.
And
so we'll be
I'll
fine.
live longer on a boat.
That's right.
And
That's
then-
a proven scientific fact.
Absolutely.
If you're on a boat, you're healthier.
Business analyst, producer, and cabin boy, Jeff Needles.
What's this inside
Going to
joke?
add to his title.
What's the inside joke going on here?
He tells me you think he's still an intern.
Oh, well, I did until last week. But now I know better. It's fine. I just thought he hung out here a lot. I don't know. I can't keep track of these people. Hey,
So I said, no problem, Jeff. From now on, when I mention your name, I'll call you business analyst and producer Jeffrey Needles.
well, what am I when you talk of me to others?
Show host Sarah Lane.
But I also write, do some light editing.
Are you working on a novel?
I produce.
A show host, novelist,
He doesn't know what I do.
editor, and producer
You
Sarah
think
Lane.
I just sit here and read the cards?
That's all I do.
Well, that's where we differ.
Yeah.
We got an email from Lauren, who says, and this is in response to last week when I was like, Siri is kind of annoying to listen to music because you have to ask Siri to listen to the music, and then there might be ambient noise in whatever cafe or bar or wherever you're hearing the music.
Right.
Lauren says, Siri works better than you think for identifying songs in a loud environment. Your problem is you were doing it on your iPad, which was at a distance from you.
Yes.
So Siri couldn't really separate your voice from the background noise. If you're talking on a speakerphone in a loud bar, people on the other end wouldn't be able to hear you. Why would you expect any better from Siri? Touche. The phone, the iPhone, which is what you're more likely to be using at a bar, or anywhere that there's music, has a second microphone that it uses to eliminate some of that background noise. So go off speakerphone mode, hold your iPhone close to your mouth like you were making a phone call, and then Siri knows to differentiate you from the background noise, and then your name that tune game. And you can always use the trick of holding down the home button while you're speaking and then releasing it when done, so you have control over when Siri stops listening. I mean, I feel like I knew all of that, and I still had a hard time with it. But I'm just challenged.
Do you turn on the, and I want to say it out loud, Hey Siri, setting in your iPad? You know, the one where it will wake up if you
Sure.
talk to it while it's plugged in?
Sure do.
You do turn that on?
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Do you find it wakes up a lot?
No.
Because it is. It's always waking up.
It has woken up for me.
Yeah.
When I'm in my car, I almost always have either my iPad or my iPhone plugged in because I'm just, wanting the most juice possible. And sometimes on the radio, someone will say something, and it wakes up iOS.
Every time they talk about Syria, it wakes up.
Or sometimes it'll be like, I don't know. I mean, Hey Sarah sounds a lot like Hey Siri.
That's
not that radio people are saying that to me very often, but you hear it.
I have turned it off on all my iOS devices because I just can't. It's
just too annoying.
Driving me nuts.
All right, we've got a video question, and this one is a little bit of a, I don't know, it kind of stumped me, but I thought maybe you could take a go at it. Eric, who goes to the University of Puget Sound, he's class of 2015 in the computer science department. Eric has a little kind of a game center video question for us.
Hey Sarah, hey Leo. My name is Eric and I'm calling in from Seattle, Washington. I had a quick question for you guys today. I recently made a new iOS game using the new Swift programming language, which is awesome.
Yep, we agree.
And I'm using Game Center to save the user's high scores. Now, that kind of got me thinking maybe I should also use the achievements built into the Game Center as well to kind of help encourage people to continue playing the game and, unlock all the achievements.
Yeah.
I know personally I don't really use or follow the achievements when I play other games. So I was kind of curious what your guys' thoughts were when it comes to achievements on the Game Center. Thanks, guys.
That's actually a great question, Eric. Boy, isn't he great?
Love him.
It's nice that you're listening.
I feel like you're going to go places.
I just launched my Game Center on my iPad, and I have to say, I have achievements. Look, I'm an Infinity Blade Master, but I never pay attention to them.
Yeah.
I would, and by the way, similarly, challenges. These are people who see that I play a certain game, and they said, hey, would you like to challenge me in these games? I don't ever see these. Nevertheless, I wouldn't turn them off because, I mean, I would turn them on because there probably are people who pay attention to this stuff. It's just, at least for me, it wouldn't make a game more appealing to me because.
But it seems like if you've got that as an option.
But use it, right?
Yeah, and as Eric mentioned, he's.
That's my title and everything. I'm an Infinity Blade master.
He wrote an app, so
Why not?
you're already. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you give people more options rather than fewer?
You always want to make your app as sticky as possible, Eric. So I think you're on the right track. What's the name? I wish he told us what the name of the app
Actually,
was.
he did. Let me find it.
I want to try it.
Eric, where are you? Let's find you. iPad Today's Show, Eric.
This, I have to say, they've really improved the UI instead of the. One of the reasons I rarely launched Game Center is because I just hated that old green felt background. This is great. These bubbles are kind of moving a little bit.
For the most part, I usually don't log into Game Center, and honestly, it's not because I don't think it's. I think Game Center has actually become sort of really nice and fluid, and it works well. I just feel like all my scores on games are bad.
Right.
Because I have such a bad attention span that I feel like, what's anybody getting out of my Game Center but to make fun of me?
You know, when I played Plants vs. Zombies 1, I paid a lot of attention to the achievements. And, you know, these are all the achievements for PvZ 2, and there's quite a few of them. And I actually played the game longer and used it more, and I think got more satisfaction out of it because of the achievements. So just because we don't particularly pay attention to achievements doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. I think that it's probably a good idea. Let me just show you I'm so proud of my Infinity Blade mojo. Oh, well, I don't know where it is.
You can't find it, huh? Can you search? Can you search in your game?
Oh, there it is. There it is. Infinity Blade 2. Look at all the, I want to show you the mojo, man. The mojo.
You can float like a butterfly and you can sting like a bee.
Sting like a bee.
You've got perfect timing.
Grabinator, my precious perfect thug. The information dealer, death of the written word, the bigger they are.
Some of these are strange.
Mecha death.
Like you have an achievement called Traditionalist.
Defeat the God King using sword and shield.
Oh, I see. Oh, God. See, I think this is cool.
If you play a game a lot and you're aware of achievements, which, by the way, these are also visible in the game in many cases, then, you know, I think why not add this? It's a very easy thing to add. This is just a duplicate of what you already got in the game.
By the way, Eric's game is called Black Holes Shooter, and I have not played it.
Sounds good.
It is in the App Store. It looks...
Downloading now.
Looks a little like, what would you say that looks like, Brian? Hello, Brian.
Brian is our gaming expert.
Cool.
It looks like you're shooting into black holes.
Well, it looks a little bit like, I don't know, asteroids or something.
No, because the black holes suck their high gravitational pull.
By the way, 11 reviews, all 5 stars.
Nice job, Eric.
Pretty good, Eric.
Well done. You know what? Let's give him a big fat plug. It's free.
Yeah, it is.
No reason not to try it out. I presume there's in-app. Maybe not. Maybe he's just giving it. No, he's just giving it away.
It's just a free game.
Because you know what? He's a student and he wants to get his name out there.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please get Eric Lund's Black Hole Shooter. It is amazing.
Black Holes Shooter.
There's more than one. I'm going to do easy play.
Okay.
Because I am not very good at this.
No.
Tap to shoot. Okay, it is kind of asteroidsy in that regard.
Told you.
Let's shoot the black hole. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh. Ooh.
Oh, before you get sucked into one.
Can you come back from? Yeah, you must be able to. This is tough.
That's easy play. Let's do it a little faster. Boom, 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 boom. So you get drawn towards a black hole. You got to get it before you get
this is actually kind of
sucked
fun.
into it. Yeah. Oh.
So it's really a matter of just like tap
getting
fast.
the nearest one.
Tap fast.
Get the nearest one.
Tap fast.
Whoa. Whoa. This is nicely done, and I think an ingenious. It's a lot of times when we first do games, we copy other people's games, and I think you did a nice job here of something that's quite original.
Eric, we love you.
Look at that. Nice job, Eric.
Hope you graduate. Actually,
I want some achievements. Hope you graduate and hope you make millions.
You're good. You're good to go. Game over.
Game over, man. Game over.
So we got another email from Marcos in Oregon. We're just covering the West Coast today.
Yes, we
Hi,
are.
Sarah and Leo. Actually, he said hi, Leo and Sarah. I like having these third-party keyboards on iOS 8 now. The one problem, though, I've found is that they don't include voice dictation button on the bottom left like the stock Apple keyboard. Is this something Apple limited, or have third-party keyboards not added that yet?
You know, that drives me crazy.
You know, I didn't notice until I was like, is he right? And then, of course, I go into my third-party apps, as I do.
There must be a way.
And he is right.
Yeah, because I dictate a lot. Now, that one, that's the Apple one.
This is the stock Apple. I'm actually,
the microphone.
Yeah, it's the stock Canadian
So you can
one.
dictate.
But let's go over into Swift key. All right, I'm ready to type. Where's my... No? Okay, let's go into... From Swift key, let's go into swipe. Another third-party key. No. Yeah, so Apple must not allow voice dictation on a third-party keyboard. And I guess it's because he doesn't want the third-party keyboard to have access to the microphone. But I don't really know why not. We've come so far. Why still? I guess there must be some... Does Apple just want the stock keyboard to be just that much better than everybody else's?
And it's driving me crazy because I do use that to dictate.
Yeah.
So very often when I'm going to type, I just want to dictate an email, for instance, and I
do voice dictate if I'm, you know, if I need to be hands-free and I'm texting somebody.
I've been meaning to mention this. Is there a way, can I double tap something or hold? Is there a way to get that turned on that isn't on the keyboard? Can I just press and hold the home key? That doesn't work. Drives me crazy.
There's no rhyme or reason, and I want answers.
I want answers.
Marcos, I'm sorry, we don't have a hidden way to get into the mic on the third-party keyboards. That is so annoying.
If I press and hold, Siri launches, but then it doesn't automatically put that into the text field that I was hoping it would, period. Instead, it does a search. I have no new messages. Thank you.
Why is it right aligning? That's weird.
Because it's smart.
Why is that smart? Who right aligns?
Siri.
Okay, just wondering. Thank goodness we have our answer. Quick reminder, we love hearing from you. Eric sent in a video. I know others can do it as well. It's so nice to see you guys. Eric, by the way, is in our chat room. Hi, Eric. You can write us at iPad today at twit.tv. If you just want to do the you know, down on paper thing, that's cool. Write us your feelings, write us your poems, your haikus, your limericks. You can leave us a voicemail at 757-504-IPAD, or you can send us a video. Just do what Eric did. He uploaded his video to Vimeo. YouTube would work as well.
That's fine. Vimeo or YouTube, we don't care.
Whatever works. Yeah. And thanks in advance. You guys are the best.
If you're ready for a new iPad, the new ones are out.
And I am.
Yeah, and what are we going to do with the old one? Guess what? We're going to Gazelle it.
That's right.
Gazelle. Go to Gazelle right now, and you can get a quote good for 30 days on your iPhones, your iPads, your tablets from other manufacturers like Samsung and Microsoft and Google. You want to get the new Nexus 9, you want to get rid of your Nexus 7, they'll buy it. They'll even buy broken iPhones and iPads. That's pretty darn awesome. And what's great about this is this quote is guaranteed for the next 30 days. Even if the value of the item goes down, and it almost always does, they're going to guarantee they'll pay you at least that much. We've had the experience several times. People used to tell me this. I didn't believe it until we sold an iPhone 5, or no, it was a 4 on Gazelle the other day, and they actually bumped up the payment because I guess I don't know what, they said it's worth more than the quote originally was, and they sent us the money. They had no obligation to do it, but that's how great Gazelle is. Gazelle is fantastic. No wonder more than 1 million customers have used Gazelle, payouts of more than $170 million. You'll have time to wipe your data, get the new device, move the data over, and then send it to Gazelle. In fact, if you forget to wipe the data, they'll do it for you. Once you're ready to check out in that 30 days, it could be day 30 if you want, they'll send you a box with prepaid postage. You don't have to pay postage on it. And then they'll turn it around fast, and they'll send you a check or a PayPal credit, or if you're an Amazon user, get that Amazon gift card. They'll bump that up by 5%. Gazelle. Get an offer right now. iPad or iPhone, lock it in for 30 days. But let me tell you something. There are gadgets in your drawers. I know there are. It's like a $100 bill sitting in your desk, just gathering dust. Don't do it. Don't do it. Go to Gazelle.com. That's what you need to do. And get the top dollar for your old stuff so you can get the new stuff. Who doesn't want new stuff? Gazelle.com. .com. I want to thank Sergeant Chuck.
Sergeant Chuck?
For my app cap today. Sergeant Chuck's been here before. He is a sergeant, retired in the LAPD. Remember he gave me that great tax squad helmet?
Sure.
Yeah, and I've worn that many times. Now, because he's retired and he has some free time, he's doing a little pro bono for the Ventura County Search and Rescue.
Oh, I love it.
So he said, Leo, you know, so many of you and your ilk have been injured in the line of podcast duty.
Sure.
That we want you all now, on behalf of the Ventura Search and Rescue Department, to wear these helmets during the shows.
Yeah, podcast safely, I believe.
Safe podcasting. And you've got ears.
I do.
That was also a listener gift.
This is really nice. You know, I have a little Mickey Mouse hat that somebody gave me, and I've worn on this show before as an app cap, but never something so official.
That
I'm
is
not
a mixture.
Not only a mouse, but I'm also
a conductor.
A battalion chief.
Is that what it says?
No, I just made that up.
I think you're a conductor on the Disneyland train.
Oh, well, okay, that's cool too. That's still important. So I'm leveling up, everybody.
But that was brought to us by a Disney person, I believe, as I remember, yeah.
A Disney person.
An Imagineer or
rather
something.
than a Disney mouse.
No
hey,
mouse.
so this is the part of the show where Leo and I wear funny hats, and we usually have a little backstory behind them. And in fact, a lot of people now bring us hats, which is actually really, really
love
cool.
that.
I know.
I collected hats when I was a kid.
I did not.
I lost my whole hat collection because they were all this big, because I was a little kid. So I have recreated my hat collection. We have hundreds of hats.
We have a lot of hats. And I felt like there's really no reason to do a show if you can't somehow bring in some of the hats that we are collecting.
Go ahead, hit me on the head.
I don't want to. It'll hurt me.
It will.
It'll hurt.
Not
it
me.
hurts me more than it hurts you.
That's right.
So this is, well, weirdly, Leo and I separately both chose photo-themed apps today. It was serendipitous.
Serendipitous.
That's right.
That's her real name.
Yes, my name is Serendipity Christina Lane. My app, I'm very excited about, which is VSCO Cam, which is VSCO Cam, which is Visual Supply Company. They're actually based out of Oakland, California. Really, really, really great iPhone app that I've been using for quite some time now, which is a mixture of a way to edit photos, but also its own social network where you can upload photos to your own grid, follow other people's photos, and very much an emphasis on people who are, you know, actually taking a lot of film photography. VSCO has film packs that they'll actually send you. But then they also do the digital app thing as well. Now they have a beautiful iPad-based app, and it's perfect because, again, I sound like a broken record, but the only thing that I don't like about looking at beautiful photos is if your screen is too small, then, I don't know, you're kind of missing out. The iPad is perfect for that. What's also nice is that there's syncing capability. So as a VSCO Cam user, I'm already in the system. I've uploaded a variety of photos that I think, I don't know, accurately represent me.
I love that. That's a great picture.
That's Lucy and the bird.
That is a fabulous picture.
Thank you. And then you can kind of flip through them. I also find that in this format, you know, this is not a very interesting photo of my coffee cup on my coffee table, but I felt like it just kind of worked out well, and it looks kind of good here, and I obviously can add a caption if I'm interested. I added "wonderful view." I don't know why I said that. That's I thought I was being clever, obviously. You can see that I took this, gosh, over a year ago now.
So you did it, the VSCO Cam app is a camera.
Yes.
So you took it with VSCO Cam.
Well, no, not necessarily.
You don't have to.
You can import. You can import, or you can, you know, take a photo natively.
I noticed it's a square aspect ratio. Is that all?
No.
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 Oh, see, there's all kinds. Okay.
Yeah, that's Lucy rolling around on the stairs because she does that as well. When did I take that photo? Oh, that was, you know, little Valentine's Day type of thing, and so on and so forth. So some of it is like, if you were following my grid, this is my grid on VSCO Cam, you would be able to see these photos. I don't have a lot in here because I'm not super proud of all my photos, and I also use Instagram a lot. But let's say, okay, well, I'd like to, you know, let's explore. So here are people that are also using VSCO Cam. Gosh, that looks like Paris. And I, you know, so I can say, I love this photo. I want to know more about Letitia Arfie. So then I can go ahead and look through some of her photos. Ooh, see, she's really talented. I like this stuff. This stuff looks good. She looks like she had a pretty fun life. okay, I'm going to go ahead and follow her.
I always wanted a bearded man in my kitchen playing the guitar.
Well, and who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Right? You know, everybody needs a bearded man in their kitchen playing a little guitar. This is probably her. Hey, Letitia, what's going on? And so, yeah, and well, she's adding a little rain. Oh, I see, because it's raining. And now, you also have quite a few sharing options as well. So let's go back to me here, Sarah Lane. So if I were to say, okay, here's a picture of Frank and his daughter, and I'd like to, you know, copy this photo URL, send it to somebody. Do I want to send it to Facebook or Twitter, email, Google+, Weibo, and then if you say more, then you've got some more options of apps that you can turn on that, you know, that are basically talking to VSCO Cam and iOS. So for example, Pocket or Tumblr, if you upload a lot of photos to your Tumblr and that sort of thing. So really, some of the navigation is slightly weird to me. For example, this is my grid. Then I can also look at, this is actually a journal functionality that I haven't really used in practice too much, but I went ahead and, you know, started a little journal, Sammy's Big Day, he's a kitten on the move, here's our cover photo of the, you know, kind of fun day that Sammy had, and then I, you know, had a little something, there's Michi eating a wallet, and then I can go ahead and say, all right, and you can see that there's this floating arrow.
So you got text or
yeah,
more
exactly.
pictures.
So it says, what do you want? You want photo, you want text. So it's, and then, you know, at that point, when you're done with it, then that's something that you could send off as well. This is just a draft, because I obviously have some work to do. But I love this, and I haven't even gotten to the photo editing capability of it yet. You know, let's go to the library. Let's say, all right, I want to do a little something with Michi here. You've got presets. Oops, here we go. You've got preset filters that I've gone ahead and imported. Some of these cost money. Some of these are free when you download the app by itself. So that's something that, you know, you just kind of want to keep in mind. There's a slider. So if I say like, well, that was a little too film noir for me, I want to back off a little bit. You've got a lot of options there. There is a shop where you can buy filter packs as well, or you can see so that was the little paintbrush. There also is a manual editing option as well. So, you know, stuff like contrast, right? Or if you want to rotate it, if you want to bring down the exposure a little bit. Well, this is kind of turning into a weird photo. If you want, you know, to up your saturation, you know, this is black and white, but you get the idea. You've got quite a bit that you can do. You know, the list goes on and on, especially, yeah, if you kind of want to like match some skin tone, you want to write some stuff, you want to add a little vignette or fade. It is really, really fully functional. And then of course, and you can see what you've done as you know, if you added enough layers or filters rather onto a photo, I often just forget what I've done. I like the way it looks, but I don't remember. You can add this as a preset, that sort of thing. That can be really helpful if you just want to add the same effects to another photo later on. I love this app. It is not the only photo editing app that I use. Certainly not on the iPad, certainly not on my iPhone. In fact, many times I'll do a combination of Snapseed and get it to where I want it in Snapseed, and then I bring it into VSCO Cam and do a little something else. I know that's totally overkill for a lot of people, but this is an app I really feel like if you are even moderately serious about being creative with photos, and again, filters that in many cases really resemble old types of film and filters that people who are serious about old school photography care about. These are your people. And there are a lot of people that I've discovered who are uploading photos to their grids. Some of it is clearly not iOS photos being taken. It's actually photos that they've, you know, scanned and are bringing it in. But it's a nice mixture and a lot of talent there. And the app is free. There are some in-app purchases for certain filters, but you can definitely get going for free.
It's great. Actually, it's on Android as well. Yours is cross-platform, and I've been using it for some time. And I love VSCO Cam.
It's really nice.
Yeah, really a great. Everybody should have that.
Yeah.
And you know, this is one of the the problems with iOS in general is we have this amazing array of applications, and there's so many you can download that do some of the same things. I'm going to tell you about it. When we've mentioned before, I am a fan of the folks at Aviary. They've been around for some time making web-based photo editing tools. Yahoo used them for a while. Adobe bought them not so long ago, and now Adobe has released the Aviary app re-released it with probably the largest array of tools in any single app. And one of the reasons I really wanted to mention Aviary today is because right now Aviary, let's pick a picture, my favorite. There's Sarah Lane.
Look
Aviary,
at me.
which offers,
Looking
if you go
great.
to the store, and by the way, look at all the tools here, is for now through the end of the month, through November 30th, all the in-app purchases are free if you have an Adobe account. And as far as I know, it doesn't have to be a paid Adobe account. You can just create an account at adobe.com and download it. The in-app purchases can total as much as $200 because there are so many things you can do. This is basically a Photoshop. So let's remove the blemishes. What do you say?
Remove all my imperfections. Do it. That sweater isn't very flattering either. I'll just go ahead and burn that when I get home.
I wouldn't mind putting we can give you a sticker, quite a few. Let's just give you a little rock on sticker right here.
Okay.
All right. She was born to be wild. All right.
You see that a lot on Instagram. Where
Yeah.
people will,
These are those kinds. These are those kinds of stickers, and you do have some capabilities. I can reverse it, which is kind of fun. Tilt it, grow it, and all of that stuff. But also, what's cool is all of these have sliders, so you can increase or decrease the effect and then apply to apply it. I won't apply that one. But you see all of these. Look at these. Some of the fashion stickers here are cool. And again, if you sign into your Adobe account, you can get everything right now through November 30th for free. Fashionista. You are a fashionista. I'm definitely applying that one. And that's just the beginning here. Because let's keep editing because there's so many good things. Save that out. Finish and share. Oh, by the way, sharing built in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, print to Walgreens, text, email. So you can really take this image and do a lot of things with it. Let's pick another one. Beautiful image of Sarah Lane. Look at here. We have meme capabilities. So I can has cheeseburger stuff. I can has.
It's H-A-Z, Leo. Come on, get with it.
And then that's the top one, and the bottom one is app, cap, and question mark. All right, done. Yeah, there you go. And we can make them bigger and do all the same things that we would do. So let's apply that. But you know what? If you're going to do that, I need an app cap. So let's get some hats. What do you say? There's quite a few things we can stick on here. It goes on and on and on. And if tattoos are fun. Should I add a baby bump? No, that wouldn't be a good idea. But
that's something that you add?
Well, you know what? If you were preggers and you wanted to do a series of these, see, it's got week and weeks, month and months.
I see what you're saying.
You could do a series of images.
That's kind of cool.
This is how much detail there is in this. Here's other memes, too, by the way, if you want to do Europe, just right there. There you go. We can just add that to the picture. Save that out. Not quite done. Let's do some more. Color, lighting, and cropping, of course. You can change the focus so I can blur out everything but you and your Europe. Let's not do that. I wanted to get a hat. Let me see. Here's enhance. There's a basic enhancement, which actually does a pretty good job. Look at that. I think that added nicely to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Let's treat you like food.
I look a little more alive.
Night. I like that one. I'm going to use that one.
Europe.
I can whiten your teeth. I can reduce red eye. This is kind of like if you were going to only get one app that does everything every app, every photo editor out there does.
This is it.
This would be it. Frames of all kinds, like going on and on and on.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about frames, but it's nice that you have. I mean, I don't know.
Day of the Dead coming up. Let's add a little Day of the Dead makeup.
We already had that.
Oh, it's over?
Yeah.
Oh, crud.
Yeah.
I always miss Day of the Dead. That's my favorite day of the year.
It's right up to Halloween.
Oh, wait a minute. You're kind of a French Francophile.
Like to think so.
Let me give you a cruller.
J'adore.
And a cup.
Oh gosh, that's so funny.
Anyway, the stickers are a lot of fun. I'm trying to find a hat. I'm sure there's how about some nautical? I wonder what the nautical. I'm on a boat, baby.
Yeah, it's kind of what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
Give me a old sea star or something like that.
Well, this one's a good one for you. Hey, sailor.
Hey, sailor.
Now, if you wanted to make it look more like a tat, and they do have tats in here, you can reduce the saturation and so forth.
I'm a big fan of the neck tat.
I think next time it says, "Hey, sailor,"
you know
well,
it.
you cannot go wrong.
Life is too short.
I'm just gonna fade it a little bit. That makes it look like you've had it for a while.
Yeah.
Golly, what else could we?
I think we're good. No, I think you've achieved perfection here in your editing of me.
On the iOS version, this is also like yours, cross-platform. It's on Android as well. But on the iOS version, we can actually draw and do fills and stuff. So it's got a paintbrush, which is kind of cool. So, for instance, I could make you black and white, but everything else in color, or vice versa, right?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has a pen. It has all sorts of capabilities. This is really. And again, the app is free. There are a free set of effects in every category. And right now, if you log onto your Adobe.com account, you can get all of everything, which totals $200 worth free through November 30th. So that's the main reason I wanted to get this one in as quickly as I could, because, filters, got every kind of filter there is, on and on and on. Autumn filters.
Till break of dawn.
This has more black and white choices than any app out there. I mean, really a variety. Here's Marilyn. I think you look like Marilyn.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been told that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so very Marilyn.
Here's some noir looks. That's good. That's good.
Huh.
And a little light. Oh, that's kind of soft. That's kind of neat. I kind of like that.
The softness.
That's Vertigo. And again, we can change the effect. Is it this way? Yeah, I guess it's, or maybe it's on this. The slider.
I think you tap that. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. So we can turn it up.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. We've got Aviary, and then we've also got VSCO Cam. Leo and I decided to come to the same conclusion and do photo ops today. So hopefully, hopefully you guys download both. And if you have creations that you think are just super great, would you send them to us? I'd love to see them. iPad today at twit.tv. And you know what? That comes to the end of our fine program for the day anyway. We will do this again next Monday. And by the way, Leo, this is episode 223. I missed saying that 222 was our palindrome episode, which was last week. So
you used to say that a lot.
Happy late palindrome, everyone.
111, 101, 122, and 222.
222.
We won't get to say it as much as we used to.
Well, when we get to 232, so that's only 9 episodes from now. So yeah, anyway, thanks everybody for watching and listening. iPad Today, we'll see you next time.